Hello everyone, my name is David Wampamba, and today let's take a look at PHP variables. So I will straight up start my MAMP server. It is starting, and then I'll open my VS Code. And in the project PHP mentorship, I'll create a new directory and I'll give it a name variables. Inside this directory, I'll create a file and I'll name it index.php. Then I will put an HTML boilerplate, and around here I'll say PHP mentorship, put an hyphen and say variables. Then in the body, I'll open PHP tag and close it. Then I will put a block line comment so that we can use it for defining a few things, for explaining a few things. So variables, what are variables? So variables, they are like containers where we store information in real life. In programming, we use variables so that we can use their values or modify them in the program. I need to do a word wrap here, and I need to collapse this one. So our containers in programming are given names, or we give names to our containers or variables. Let's take an example. We can, in PHP, we can give names to variables like this way. We can say first name equals David and last name equals Wampamba. So if you were in the previous session, you would know that what I'm doing here is called initialization. What happens is that this part at the left is the variable or identifier, and this part here is also a variable, where this is a value and a value. So the syntax is simple. I'll write here. It is $sign identifier name equals value, and the value can also be a variable. Okay, example 1. Okay, then here I'll say example 2. Now here what we shall say is full name is equal to first name. Don't mind about this, we shall learn about it later. Last name. So what I meant that we shall learn about later is this symbol in the middle. Yes, it's called a concatenation. This dot is known as a concatenation symbol or concatenation operator, and these two here symbolize a space in between. So this means that we have a variable full name which has been assigned to variable first name and the variable last name. So if we wanted to output these out to the browser, I would say, for example, echo, I will put a string first name and I will put a comma and write first name, and then I'll put another comma and put output a BR. okay, so that I can break the line. The BR is for HTML, it's not for PHP. I can do the same thing to output the last name. So I'll write last name here so that it is a label, and here I'll put the variable. So if I go to the browser here, I'm going to now remove Saturday and put variables, and then you can see first name David, last name Wampamba. So if I can come down here and put another one for full name, so I'll put a colon here and I'll put full name over here. Then I'll put a BR to break the line. So if I don't do that, the things will appear on the same line and we shall not understand them. Variable rules in PHP. Rule number 1, a variable should start with a dollar or money symbol. That's why you see that here I put that dollar. Second, it cannot start with a number. If you do a dollar sign, then you put 2, or like that, that won't work. You'll get syntax errors. 3, it cannot contain spaces. 4, special symbols apart from dollar and the underscore are not allowed in valid variable names. Okay, I can say this is wrong, so we can't say first then space name. That is wrong. We cannot say something like that. Okay, that's wrong. Then this one also, name, this is wrong. Then special symbols, I was saying special symbols apart from the dollar and underscore are not allowed in variable names. Yes, special symbols are not allowed. So that means operators and everything are not allowed in variable names. We use variables to organize our code and to also reuse values at a later stage in our code. Okay, that's the reason. So here we are going to have examples. Something like this is valid. Something like A is valid. A is also valid. For example, I can come here and say A equals to 10, and I can also say A equals to 20. So I can echo value of A is A. Okay, and okay, echo, I need to put a line break, and I can say echo value of A equals to A. Okay, so I'll go to the browser and check this out. Oh, did I do? I need to just refresh. So you can see value of A equals 10 and value of capital A equals 20. Now that means that the fifth rule of variable is that variable names are case sensitive, meaning that first name is different from first name. You see that this one here is lowercase letters. This one here has an uppercase letter in it, which is the N. So these are totally different. That's why you see we could have A here and A here. One is in lowercase and the other is in uppercase, and they have different values. So that is an important thing to put into consideration. Now we can play around with variables. We can remember we looked at operators sometimes back, so we can play with the variables, and we can continue with, let me say, like b is equal to 1. No, I can say b is equal to, because I already have the a plus a, expect 30, right? So let's go and output it. Remember, this one here is variable declaration. This here is variable initialization, because we have given it its value, its first value, initialization, and yeah, this one also is initialization. Okay, so here we are going to output. So I'll say a, then here I can put a dot, put a space, no, put a double colon, double quotes or single quotes, and put that, a plus in between them, so that it can be processed as a string. We shall look at strings later, plus the value of a. Then I can say dot, and then put an equals dot b, you know. So what is going to happen is that I'll say output. So what is going to happen here is that this statement will get the value in A, it will print it out on the screen, then it will print out the plus sign. If we do this without putting the plus sign in these quotation marks, a process is gonna happen. So for example here, the addition operation is gonna happen, but here this will be output instead of the addition taking place. The value in capital A will also be output, then the equal sign will be output, and the value in B will be output. So we expect that the value in B is the result of this expression of A plus A. Okay, so we save that and we go to the browser and refresh. So you see these have been printed on the same line simply because I did not put a break line before on this line or after this line. So I'll say echo BR like that. This one will help us, and I'll put a space around here, inside here, and the space there. I'll also put a space before the equal and a space after the equal, so that things can appear more organized. Yes, 10 plus 20 equals 30. So where has the 10 and the 20 come from? The 10 has come from here, because here we said that A equals 10, and the 20 has come from line number 48, and the 30 has come from line number 55. We can even change the value of B, because PHP is a dynamic programming language. So for example, we can come here and say B, I'll say here, changing values of a variable. Okay, so in a variable, so I can come here and say B is now equal to B, the value of B, minus 5. Okay, so the value of B is 30. If we remove 5, we expect 25 as new value. Let's check it out. So we shall output a break line here, break line here, and we shall then output the value of b. How? We shall say b is, can say that, then we put a comma and we say b expectation 25. Okay, let's go to the browser. That's it. That's how you can work with variables in PHP. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.